The wolf stopped at a huge iron door, its surface covered in rust. The hinges creaked as he forced it open, releasing a chill that smelled of stone and dust. "Your marriage chambers, my love?" The wolf sneered, his voice low and bitter, pushing Hephzibah into the dragon's cave. "No, please don't leave me here," Hephzibah cried, longing to be saved. "I'm a princess of the light. I don't belong in this darkness." She couldn't stop shaking. Her heart was pounding with fear as she felt helpless. "Thought you were tough," the wolf taunted, his laughter echoing. "Now that your precious ring is gone, you look rough. And trust me, this is nothing. Just wait until the shadows grow even darker." He grinned, his voice getting sharper. "You're in the house of nightmares, princess, where nothing remains alive, not even the bravest can survive." The mean wolf slammed the heavy iron door tight, trapping her deep in endless night. "I won't be here for long," she cried, her voice echoing like a girl stuck in a deep, dark well, alone. "My father will stop at nothing to save me. I'm his song." Tears filled her eyes as she held on to hope. "He'll do whatever it takes. He'll pull me from this place with his rope." "There's no hope for you now," a voice echoed from the darkness, cruel and cold. "You've been forgotten, just like the rest of us," it continued, its words sharp and bold. Hephzibah jumped, startled by the sudden sound. This was the dragon's cave. What if he was lurking, still waiting around? "Who's there?" She quickly looked around, but all she saw was darkness. Then she heard footsteps, alive, as something was moving in the shadows, restless. A spark flashed, and a small flame took flight. Through the dancing fire, a figure emerged. A mouse came into sight. "The name's Samuel," he said, his eyes gleaming bright with curiosity. "And who might you be? With those fine clothes, you must hail from royalty. What land did you come from, and what's your kingdom's mystery?" Hephzibah felt a sense of comfort at the sight of another soul, though she couldn't yet tell if he was a friend or foe. Lifting her chin, she said firm, "My name is Hephzibah. I'm the Princess of Evergreen, and I command you to take me out of this place." Samuel burst into a laugh so deep it rumbled from his belly. "Command me? I'm stuck here just like you. You think I want to be here, always being chased?" Hephzibah frowned. That wasn't how the mice usually reacted when they heard her sound. Back home, animals bowed to her voice. Birds carried her messages. Even bees buzzed in time with her songs, as if the whole wild sang in one noise. She spoke the language of the wild creatures as they listened to every command. But all of that power seemed to have vanished the day the magician stole her ring upon entering his land. "Evergreen, you say?" Samuel said, intrigued. "The land where nothing dies, and everyone lives long as the sun. The greatest of all lands, where the food towers high as the mountains, more than enough to satisfy the hungriest of souls." "That one. Yes, that's my home." Hephzibah's face sparkled with excitement, as if she was sharing a magical vision. Samuel let out a disbelieving laugh, shaking his head. "Impossible," he scoffed. "A place like that? No one comes or goes without the king's permission." "I'm telling the truth," she insisted, "and the king is my father." "And I can fly," he mocked, still not believing her wild story, unable to accept that he was standing before the daughter of the author. He shook his head, feeling like Hephzibah was trying to insult his intelligence. "You think I'm that dumb? You really think you can fool me just because you're taller than me and wear pretty clothes? Why is it so hard for you to believe where I come from?" Hephzibah's confusion rose. "Because where I come from, people lie to me all the time," Samuel said, his voice steady like a rhyme. "And I know it's because I'm small. It's easy to get stepped on when you're not that tall. But I will not be made a fool. I promised myself I'd never fall for anyone's trickery." He planted his foot, refusing to be made a mockery. "Besides," Samuel's tone turned sharp as a knife, If the King of Evergreen is truly your blood, why send his own daughter to a wretched place so misunderstood? A scary land shaped by war, plundered by thieves, and cursed by winters so cruel, making the mightiest beast freeze. Yet that is not the worst of it, for this land is bound by a curse, destined to fall. The fire of the king will sweep through, devouring all. A promise as true as gold, a future already written, the nightmare in our tale that never grows old. From the flames rose screams, sharpening the nightmare they were destined to face. None who were trapped here could ever be safe. Hephzibah's eyes widened in fear. No, my father would never do that. You're lying. I get it. The truth is just too terrifying, he said. But look around. You don't need a sharp mind to see. We're drowning in darkness, blind as can be. The air stinks of mold and decay. This world has been long forgotten, left to waste away. The King of Evergreen doesn't care about us. He cursed this land and left it to crumble, rot and rust. And now he has betrayed your trust, for you sit here alone, waiting to return back to dust. But the question that intrigues me the most, if you're really his daughter, his own flesh and blood, why would he cast you down here to live among the filthy rats? What kind of father does that? Samuel paced slowly, with his hands behind his back, his eyes full of questions, trying to figure out the big mystery that stood before him. Why does a princess sit here among the poor and lack? Unless you must have committed some unspeakable evil, and now he sees you as a curse, he said aloud, imagining the worst. But you, he paused, tilting his head as if puzzled. You hardly look dangerous. No claws, no fire in your eyes. No, you seem more like a gentle flower, fragile and precious. Unless, of course, this is all just a clever disguise. And beneath that soft exterior lies something fierce, something ancient and terrifying, just waiting to arise. Hephzibah stood tall. She and Samuel shared one thing in common. She didn't like anyone thinking she was small. This is no disguise, she declared, her voice firm. And make no mistake, I am not weak but wise. With nothing but my words, I could summon storms and call fire to rise. Lightning would strike where I command, and every creature in Evergreen would listen to my cries. Hephzibah was indeed clever, yes, but not entirely a truth-teller. If that's true, Samuel's eyes narrowed, heavy with doubt. Tell me then, little flower, what evil could someone so lovely have done to earn the fury of her own father? His tone grew darker. What great crime could make him send his own daughter away from paradise, dooming her to always flee from the awful ghosts in this cursed lair? Then, with a smirk, he said, "So how do you plead, rebel?" But just as he struck his pose, he stepped in the fire and yelped, "Ow, my toe!" "You're mistaken," she declared. "I'm no rebel, and my father doesn't hate me. He's already working his way to pull me out of this cave, setting me free." "Ha!" Samuel shouted. "That's how I know you're lying. If you were truly the king's daughter, you'd understand that the king designed this place to be a prison, one from which no rebel can ever be risen. Not even the mightiest kings of this land can break free. Once you enter this realm, you are bound to it, trapped to never dream." Hephzibah cleared her throat, immediately pushing away the fear of being stuck in the dragon's cave forever. "I don't believe you," she said firmly. "There's always a way back to the light. We just have to find the door. That's what my mother would always say to help me not give up the fight." Samuel said, "Your mother must have been quite strange. My mother would always tell me, 'Son, enjoy life while you can, because the darkness is like a hungry beast, always searching, waiting to feast. It's already laid out a bed in its belly for you to rest, because in the end, you're nothing more than a mist passing through its forest.'" Hephzibah shed a tear, deeply saddened that he lost all hope. "That sounds sad." Samuel, his face darkening with anger, replied, "That's because there's no hope here. Soon you'll realize that too." He steadily calmed down from being mad. Hephzibah shook her head, her voice firm. "No matter how dark it gets, my hope won't die. I'll still believe, I'll still try." As she tried to lift herself up, Samuel's frustration boiled over. "I've had enough." "She doesn't listen," he thought, storming off, disappearing into the darkness. "Hey, where are you going?" she called out, hoping to make him see that life wasn't pointless. Samuel didn't say a word. He just kept walking, pretending he hadn't even met her, purposely forgetting she was there. "Samuel! Hello! Samuel!" she called, her voice getting louder each time like a roaring bear. But he didn't look back. The only sound she heard was the little fire next to her as it popped and cracked. Hephzibah felt alone again as fear tried to convince her that she was truly forever lost. She didn't know whether to stay put and wait for her father to rescue her or to follow after Samuel, though she had no idea what that path would cost. She had endless questions. How deep did this cave go? The room was pitch black, with only a tiny flame's glow. If there was another door, how would she ever know? Hephzibah gazed at the swirling flames of the fire, which offered both warmth and a glimmer of hope. As she stared, a distant memory stirred, one filled with life and a dangling rope. Real bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about choosing to believe in the light, even when everything around you feels dark. It's choosing to still believe life will get better, and the evil you're facing will be no more. Scary stuff won't last forever, even when it feels like the nightmare will never end. Hephzibah shows true bravery, not by escaping the cave, but by holding on to hope when everything around her tells her to let go. She chooses to believe in the light, even as Samuel gives in to despair. Her bravery is quiet but powerful. It's the kind that says, "I may be afraid, but I will still believe." My prayer is for every child who feels afraid, whether you're fighting a sickness, facing bullies, or waking up from scary dreams. I pray you don't give up or give in to fear. Instead, I pray you hold on to hope. Like Hephzibah, may you choose to say, no matter how dark it gets, I'll still believe.